A minute, please. Can I have everyone settle down, please? Hang on. Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. Yeah, we have 1 minute. All right, we have Pankaj here with us, who will be sharing
Client-side performance.
client-side performance testing. All right, the floor is yours.
Shall we start? Yeah. Cool. Afternoon, everyone. Let me get used to this one. Okay. This is the way to do that. Cool. Hi. Afternoon. Hope you all had a fantastic tea break and are not feeling sleepy, and you're able to hear me out, right? Quite well. Cool. Apologies. The initial plan was to do automated performance testing, but we already had people doing the same, so I had changed the topic. I'll be taking and talking on client-side performance testing. I'm representing Client Testing Services. We are a pure-play testing company. I have got over a decade and a half years of experience in performance testing, delivering customized tailored solutions to our customers. I mainly look after the northern region, so in Auckland, Auckland, and Hamilton. So all our customers in these regions we are delivering tailored solutions to these customers. I've got extensive experience working in the India, US, UK, Australia, and New Zealand market, and these are the industry domains that I've been fortunate to be a part of. Conference focus, I try to share as much insight as possible and try and see how we can leverage the technological advancement for driving performance efficiencies across business. I skipped through this slide. You don't need to go through this. Okay, just a quick check with everyone else, since we have been talking about performance in quite a lot of other these speeches as well. Right in the beginning, we had I think sorry, I forgot your name. Libby, right? Libby also talked about performance. We had forgot her name as well. Deb. She also talked a bit on performance testing.
So remember that you forgot my name now.
Sorry?
Remember that you forgot my name.
I tried to remember your name and forgot it. Stage 5, right? While I asked ChatGPT, right, anyone else here wants to take a guess on performance testing? A quick 1 or 2 words about performance testing, so that we can do a quick check on whether you were sleeping toward the morning sessions or you still were awake or are awake now. Anyone? Just 1 word? Nothing? Oh, it's too small actually, sorry for that. Anyways, I'm not going to go through that in detail because ChatGPT has a lot to say here about what performance testing is. The typical perception when we have an interaction with client, right, they typically just have a 1 word request that they want to do performance testing and they just want to do load testing. So there are more flavors to performance testing, not just load testing. We have different type of testing within performance. We have load, stress, capacity, scalability, endurance, and baseline. I'm not going to go through all of this. I'll cover a scenario, a case study where we try to touch base on each of these type of performance testing. Sorry. Yeah, so to cut it short, right, let's make it simple for us. We'll just focus on how fast performance testing basically we'll try to understand how fast, scalable, and stable your system is. Just in 3 words, if you want to describe it to a client, because we have often seen the customers that we work with, they don't have any idea or background about performance testing, and they are always quite shy on the NFRs around them as well. So when we get to an engagement with the customer, what happens is we go through a design and discovery phase where we try to have interaction with their architects, the BAs, and testing team as well to understand what are the critical functionalities that are of utmost important to them, because we cannot test everything for performance. We can only target a particular set of critical use cases or test cases depending on the application under test. And based on that initial planning and discovery, right, we tend to come up with an entire test plan. So I'll not discuss through that in detail as well because that's not the point of this conference as well. Now, why test performance? Again, the reason I'm trying to bring that up here again is because more often we do see the client side planning performance testing. They don't plan it out well in advance. Often they don't think about performance testing and don't do any kind of budget locations as well, which often lead to a last moment realization of they need to do performance testing, but they don't have the budget. They have not prepared for the environment. Environment is also a crucial factor when it comes to performance testing. But obviously there are other ways to achieve or test a particular platform for performance by either containerizing or using component-based test, or if you are kind of using testing in lower environment, you can do a scale-down test and then do an extrapolation. But extrapolation is a risk-based performance testing approach. So there are various ways to achieve them. Why do we test performance, right? Pretty simple. I will have a supporting argument after this slide. Every business wants to deliver a high-quality solution and scalable solution. How do you do that? How do you ensure that you are delivering a high-quality and scalable solution? Nowadays, the new term that is not nowadays, but from the past few years, we've been hearing about cloud. And more often, the customers have a perception that since we are moving to a cloud platform, performance is something which is automatically guaranteed, which is not exactly the case because every solution is unique. When I say every solution is unique, the customer will kind of customize their solution. They would try to implement, let's say they have a legacy system, but they also want that functionality from the legacy system in the new system as well. They try to customize the solution to an extent that can cause performance issues in the long run. They will try to implement some JavaScript as well, which has a definite impact on performance. I'll talk to them as well towards the next slides of this presentation. Now, again, scalability is something which is, okay, even if we say it is automatic, there are multiple parameters basis which you can define the scalability factor. You can either go horizontal scaling or vertical scaling, but again, just simply going, trusting the platform and doing all sort of modification, customizations to your website or portal or an ERP solution or Dynamics 365 platform that you're implementing on your on-premise or cloud solution will not guarantee that they are bulletproof against the vendor updates, because you would definitely have vendors pushing updates for this platform every quarter or maybe 6 months, and those are some of the mandatory updates that you would have to update your platforms against. We have had customers who had bypassed this process. I have trusted their software vendors, the implementation partners, finally, wherein they have implemented huge amount of customization, JavaScript implementation, and now every time there is a product update in production, they get hit by P1 incidents, which would result in a lot of losses in terms of millions of dollars. So that's why the second thing comes into play, the cost saving, where performance testing is essentially going to help you to save on the cost in this aspect of testing. Now, what comes with it? When you do performance testing, naturally you will have improved user experience with increased productivity. You would assess your platform on certain SLAs. I'm just covering 2 here. There are a lot of parameters, but just in the interest of everyone, I'll just cover 2: response times and availability. There are other client-side metrics as well, server-side metrics as well, which we would definitely kind of analyze based on each test results that we put the application through, and then at the end, it would definitely provide the customer with a competitive advantage and revenue loss and credibility loss as well. Next slide. This is a very interesting case study on the internet, available on the internet. Anyone who is not aware of what cricket is, I hope everyone here in the room is across cricket. By show of hands, no? Okay. So cricket, right? This is a very interesting statistics you can see on the screen. I would like all of you to focus on that concurrency pattern graph there. So this is a game which was played between India and New Zealand in 2019. That was the World Cup. And you can see the different stages are defined here. On the second column, you have the different stages of the game. Now, on the concurrency pattern graph, you can see at number 1, you have slightly under a million concurrent users accessing that platform. Before even going that, sorry, Disney Hotstar, anyone is not across that? Okay, it's basically an OTT platform, similar to what you have on Netflix or Amazon Prime back in India. This would stream web series, movies, live games, etc. And this is the platform which was streaming those games during the World Cup of 2019. Coming back to this concurrency pattern. Now, at 1, that's where the toss actually happened, where we saw slightly under 500,000 users active on this website. At 2, you would see New Zealand started batting, and throughout 2 and 3, you would see like there were like close to 12 million people, and it peaked at 13.9 million users on that platform during that period. And you see a cricket game, I stopped watching honestly, but as far as I remember, it's like, it takes like close to 8 to 10 hours, I think, a whole day. Now, this graph, like I said in the first slide, we'll cover different type of performance tests that we have seen in the ChatGPT given us through. I'll try to explain you how it actually aligns to this as well. Now, between 2 and 3, we all saw that it were like 13.9 million at the end, and then you see a sudden drop there. The drop represents the time in a game where it was hit by rain, and that is a very a stressful situation on an application when you have a sudden drop, because when you have a sudden drop on an application, all the users will try to go back to the home page, right? And suddenly the hit to the home page will increase, which will kind of have a lot of effect on that API, and it can result in a crash on the home page as well, wherein the users will not be able to access the home page, and ultimately it brings about bad publicity, right? Everyone will start talking about it, will be in the news, and nobody wants to be in that position. Now, you can still see at point number 4, there are still under 500,000 people on the platform. They might be watching some commentary, or they're still waiting for the game to resume. And the vertical line represents the next day, because that day, the game didn't resume that day. And the next day, New Zealand team started batting again. They finished their remaining over at 5. Again, there was a drop, and the Indian team started to bat again. Now, these are spikes, okay? Then there is a bit of load throughout the game. If I just consider point number 2 and 3, I can consider it as a load test. If it is like 5 hours or 6 hour duration, it can be an endurance test as well. The spikes are like sudden spikes, represents a spike test, which is and then at point number 6, there is a drop, like I said. When Indian team started batting again at 6, it again went to 16.2 million, that's a big number. And at 16.2 million, at stage number 7, when Indian team started to lose wicket, the number of users started coming down again. And at 25.3 million, that's where Disney Hotstar made world record. That's a huge number of customers being serviced live streaming. That's where the Indian captain MS Dhoni walked in, and all the people were on the screen trying to see what's happening on the game. And again, a spike and a drastic drop when he got out. So, like I said, it's a very critical situation. I mean, it's very difficult for an application to be able to handle certain very load conditions. How Hotstar achieved this, right? They prepared well in advance. So if you can see here, they were streaming like tens of terabytes per second of data, live video streamings. And what they had an internal project called Project Hulk, wherein they leveraged this infrastructure configuration to put the application under tsunami test. Tsunami test is basically representing sudden spikes, endurance, or load test patterns. That's what they have represented there. And that they have made use of chaos engineering. So chaos engineering, if someone is not aware,